Hey, check me out. This is Jeffrey Bolden, aka Boosie, aka Rhode Island, whatever you want to call me. Just sitting here under this office building or whatever in a moment of introspection, and I was thinking. I actually been reading a lot about this alternate world or whatever. And basically with the author of this book, Talentless, by the way, I'll provide the link below, check that out. And basically he asked the question, what is our educational system really like? What he did was he built this company inside of his book where these two individuals created software as to discover what talents every individual has, and basically their program became corrupted, and here came another group set of individuals who perfected that same technology. So with this development and with the advancement of technology to a point where everybody can learn what you go to school for 12 years can be learned in milliseconds, what he did was he based the school system off of learning certain morals and ethics, learning the beginning stuff like your ABCs, 1, 2, 3s, and all of that stuff. And he said, let the kids just run around and do what they want. Like, he basically pointed them in a direction that they truly wanted to take, which in turn developed the neurons in your brain to be able to find out what your true talent is. And I was thinking to myself, well, why doesn't our school system do that? Why can't we develop a technology like that when we already have the capabilities to learn anything and everything within milliseconds? We are the nation of Google, Wikipedia. We have online encyclopedias. There's so many things we can do to learn about other things and everything, really, that we are no longer confined to having a set of books. So why are we still learning from old books? This is going to be a prose. This is kind of like a story or whatever, but it's going to be a prose. I'm entitling it Pineal Gland because I don't even know what's real. I'm just being real, but I'm going to be real with you. So in this, I'm going to break down the educational system through grades, kindergarten, all the way up to higher learning. It's not going to be that long because there's really not much to break down. When you first enter the school system, normal kids, when you first enter the school system, you either go to preschool or you go to kindergarten. Preschool, basically, all that is the socialization of children. Like, you learn to play with other children, to share with other children. And in my opinion, that is a necessity. You have to learn to do these things. But with every good thing that you learn from this situation, there's also bad. You also learn differences between you and other children once you leave the house. For instance, I learned about girls. I had a little sister, but I didn't really have knowledge of other girls until I went to preschool, because my little sister is 4 years younger than me. I went to preschool at like 5, so she was 1. So wasn't really much to learn about girls in my house. I only had my sister and my mama. So once I went to preschool, I learned, hey, there is a whole nother set of species out there, and they are extremely different from boys. Like, whereas I like to play outside and get dirty, all the girls wasn't trying to get dirty, you know what I'm saying? Like, they wasn't trying to mess up their clothes or nothing. And while boys were just having fun, girls was playing with dolls or whatever. And that's just manifesting gender roles. That's placing gender roles onto children at such a young age. And I'm not going to say that there's anything wrong with that. And there's not even a but. There's really nothing wrong with that because we're all young. We do what we want to do anyway. But come kindergarten, in first grade, you learn your ABCs, you learn shapes, you learn colors. That's also a necessity to learn. But at the same time, they're also telling you what to spell. They're not letting you spell out your own words. They're telling you what to spell. They're telling you what to draw. Draw your mom and dad doing this. And this brings about another set of differences. Because when I was younger, I didn't have a dad. I didn't always grow up with one. So when they asked me to draw my mom and dad and my family, I only can draw my mother and my sister. Whereas other kids could draw their mother, their sisters, and their fathers. And I learned then that there was a difference between me and other households, and I kind of felt bad about that. And not saying that I regretted it or anything, but I'm really glad I got to learn that. But this is where I feel like something should be different. Instead of learning shapes and colors, you still need to learn those. Instead of learning and then doing what the teacher tells you, you should allow those children to have creative freedom. And instead of creating what the teacher tells them, they should be able to allow them to create their own pictures. And in some schools, yes, they do allow you to create it, but you have to go home first. And in some sort of fashion, there's always guidance to creating something. Like, the children is never allowed to just truly roam free like they were in this book. So when you get up to other grades, you're automatically focused on what you drew in pre-K and kindergarten. So 2nd to 6th grade, we're learning from outdated books. Well, I was learning from outdated books. I don't know what school you went to, but I was learning from outdated books. And damn, I didn't know somebody else was in there. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing?
All right. You waiting for somebody?
No, ma'am. It kind of messed up my video. It kind of messed up my flow. I didn't know that white lady was in there. This might go in the bloopers. It depends on how I feel. But yeah. So through 2nd and 6th grade, I learned more differences. 1st grade. 1st grade, I learned differences between races. I didn't really get the differences when I was younger, but I started to understand them once I got into 1st grade, because I was a little black kid, and I used to get picked on by like 5th grade white kids, and I was like, damn, man, maybe it's because I'm smaller. But then I got to thinking about it, like, well, all the other 1st graders are around my height and my size. Why am I the only one getting picked on? Then it clicked. I'm the only one who's darker. And I was like, growing up, I was like, why didn't this make me become racist? And I was like, because of my background, where I traveled a lot more than these other kids, I grew understanding that just because one person treats you wrong doesn't mean the entire race will treat you wrong. So that's what I feel as though we should be teaching people at a young age. We should teach them understanding instead of making them learn structured rules about geometry, which is important, don't get me wrong. Instead of making them learn structured curriculums, we should be teaching them morals, values, and ethics and philosophies, and then allowing for the child to make their own decision on which avenue they would like to take. Because in this book, at 13, you went in and you got classified as to what talent is geared for you. Like, I'll put an example. Me, I'm a poet, an author. I'm a quintessential artist. I've been drawing for almost 20 years. I've been writing for almost, I started writing when I was 12, so almost 15 years. And if I was 13 and was in this program, they would have more likely geared me towards the artistic side of things. Whereas a football player, they would have probably geared him more towards the physical things and the football player, or You can have a student who specializes in agriculture and nature. They would have geared him towards that. And I was thinking, why don't we have that? We do have the capabilities to learn things at an astronomical rate. Astronomical. You can learn the history. You can learn the history of the alphabet. To learn the history of the days, where we got the names of the days from, where we got the names of the months from, in a matter of seconds. All you have to do is ask the question to the computer, and it tells you. But our school system is structured, and therefore, it kind of eliminates the creativity of thinking, because thinking in general is a creative act. Like, once you think outside of the box, you're being creative. You don't have to be artistic to be creative. All you have to do is think outside of the box sometimes. And our school systems don't really teach thinking outside of the box because we're so structured into thinking inside of the box, coloring inside of the lines. So, my understanding is, why don't we have this? This is my main question. Why don't we have something like this implemented? Because we're so busy being structured. It's almost like we're being controlled by forces unseen. Like, honestly. If you really look at it, we are. Like, where are we going from here? So many people leave high school without direction. They leave high school thinking, I'm supposed to go straight to college, straight to a university, because they've been structured on a path that's been built for them and been laid out in front of them. Like, I would say, me as an example, I graduated in 07. I graduated high school in 07. I'd say the first week after graduation, I really didn't have any clue as to what I wanted to do, because in reality, I wanted to rap and write. That's all I wanted to do. I didn't really see any schools that were affordable and put me in position to where I can do that. That made sense. So I didn't really pick a school that was for that. I just picked any school because I felt as though no school would help me into achieving my dream as to doing that. So what I did was I went to LMU, Lincoln Memorial University, for a little while, and I found out I can write really well there. And that was it just was a coincidence. Like, a lot of people don't find their gift in college like I did. Shame to say, a lot of people leave college with even more questions as to what I do, because the educational system is so structured and so generalized, so everyone thinks the same way. And that's how I see education. I told you it wasn't going to be that long. Through K through 12, through higher learning not so much as K through 12, it's all generalized. And once you get to higher learning, it's not as generalized, but you still have general classes, and I feel that that's wrong. What you really should do is start having schools for different avenues of life. Like, not everybody wants to be in the army. Not everybody wants to be in agriculture. Not everybody wants to be an artist. But everybody should have a chance to pursue what they truly want to do. Is that not the American dream? So that's my interpretation of the situation. You should definitely check out Talentless. I'll leave the link below. I'll also leave the link for Book of Soul below. And this is